I can remember specific times in my life and career that I met Larry, I met Nathan East, I met Freddie Washington,
Yeah.
and all these guys, man. I'm a student. I'm a constant student, right? I'm like a sponge. And when I say I study these guys, I study what they did in a particular record or how they approached something in that record to bring out who they are as an individual. Because all of them sound, I can tell Nathan,
Yes,
when I hear him on a record.
Yes,
I can
you
tell
can.
Freddie.
Yes, you can.
I can
Absolutely.
tell Larry.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't about, and all of them are different.
Yeah.
So what is, I mean, that in and of itself explains what I was just talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
These guys stepped out on faith that this is who I am. And they did it with confidence. That's
Exactly.
very important.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
gotta have confidence in who you are as a person.
Yeah. The way we did it when I was coming up in Chicago, we would always say, you have your influences. That's probably the same thing for you. You have your influence. You have those people that you listen to and that you admire. But you take a little bit it's like a recipe. You take a little bit of pinch from this one, a little bit of pinch from that one. But in the end, it's what's here. And all of that together is what compromises your sound. That's what compromises Al Turner, Larry Kimpel, Nathan East. Because he's right. The minute you hear Nathan, you're like, oh yeah, that's Nathan. That's Marcus. You know it's Marcus. You know it. Even if a cat is playing, here's a really good example of that. Even if a guy is playing a Marcus Miller signature bass, you know it's not Marcus. Right? You can tell.
Absolutely.
You may have a twang, but you ain't that. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Like I said, Victor Wooten. It's and if you ask Victor, he had influences. Everybody's got. They came from somewhere. My biggest influences were Anthony Jackson, Chuck Rainey, Pops Popwell from Crusaders. Those cats that were just, they just laid it down. And from there, you just kind of come up with your own, as he said, organically. That sponge, you just become, but you don't become them.
Right.
But
That's
how?
no who
Right. But
wants another?
Right.
Why do you need another Victor Wooten? Why do you need another Jaco Pesto? You don't.
Right.
You don't.
But let me ask you this, Larry, since we on you now.
Sure.
Once you suck it in, all this information when you first starting out and you gaining confidence in yourself, how does a person not fall into being that person? Where's the dividing line? Is it in your mind, in your heart, in the music? No, you don't want to become Victor Wooten or Marcus or Stanley, but as a person coming up, where's the stop? Or is it different for everybody else, anybody?
I mean, it's a different journey for everybody, but I think what you have to do is take those bits that you enjoy from that person, and you do have to think about your own spot. You have to think about where, this is, that sounds a little too much like, then I'm quoting him. I don't want to do that, but I just want to, I want maybe the same kind of a tone or something, but I don't want to play those licks because that lick is his signature lick. So I won't do that. I'll do it this way. So you have to put, it's all here too, but you got to kind of think conceptually where you want to go with it, and you guide yourself. It's really self-guidance. You really got to guide yourself to where you,
So you expounding off their creativity and turning it into yours.
Yeah.
Now what about, how do you have to have like a huge musical library in your head in order to do that? Or you just sit down and you figure it out?
No, I really think you just kind of figure it out. I mean, you don't have to be a virtuoso player to have your own thing. You just, I mean, I guess there's there's a couple of different types of players, I think, in my mind. There's cats that lay it down.
Now what? Explain to my people when they say lay it down.
Say lay it down. They're on the one.
Boom.
There's no frills.
No deviations.
If you listen to, here's a good example of a cat that lays it down. The late Donald Duck Dunn from Booker T and the MGs. If you listen to anything, young people. Let me tell you, go listen to Melting Pot. Booker T and MG's album, you'll never be the same. Classic. From minute one to the end. This dude is in there. No frills, no fan, nothing up here.
Yeah.
It's all here. It's all here. And he means every word of it. Every note of it.
Hold on. So would that be considered the groove?
That's the groove.
Okay.
That's the groove.
When you say landed, he laying the groove.
He's laying the groove down. He's laying the foundation for everybody else to shine. That's what he's doing.
That's awesome.
And he makes it. He's doing his thing though. That's the thing. He's not being bored. He's having a ball.
Absolutely.
He's having a ball making everybody else shine. And that's the thing. See, somewhere along the line, I think, and you might agree with me, bass became this thing where it's like, oh, it's boring to be
Right.
It's boring to be this laid down dude. Let me step up front and all. Man, it's so cool to be able to just support a vocalist.
Absolutely.
And make it sound sweet and make them sing because they hear you back there just supporting them. Man, it's a beautiful thing.
So like now, back in the day when you was first starting off, you playing. Did you ever suck? You know, like when you was first starting off. So did you?
I would say so.
I have days when I still suck.
Yeah, but I was saying like back in the day when you guys were hitting like that, did it defeat the confidence level, or you just expounded on it? You know, damn the torpedoes, let's keep moving forward.
You gotta have to if this is what you're gonna do. You gotta take stock of, okay, well, this didn't work or that didn't work. Wow, these strings, they don't work. There's all of these little variables that you have to take into account. If you had a bad day, some days it's just bad. Some days maybe the drummer's not right, and you're off. Or whatever it is. Don't let that discourage you from moving forward. You just gotta take it stock, and as I always say, well, those bad notes, they're in the cosmos now. It's,
Right.
They're gone.
So if an artist turn around and if the lead artist turn around or tell you after the show, hey man, that wasn't cool. You wasn't.
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
If you want to stay with them, don't do it again.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Prime example. Now, you talk about my Ken Smith basses, and I've been playing with Kim for some years.
Right.
And I came in on his second album. They called me in to play on album 2. I recorded that album with my original Ken Smith bass. And all the gigs, all the records that I played on, I used the Ken Smith bass. So one particular day, I was on a gig, we were doing this outside show, and I brought this other bass. Being a bass player, you got multiple basses, you just bring another bass to the gig.
Sure. It's still me.
So after the show, it was a great bass. I'm not going to mention the maker or anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, you played a different bass today. I said, yeah. And he said, why? I left it at that.
Mm-hmm.
That told me, because I understand he as an artist, he hears a certain thing, and I've been recording with this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
All your records playing this Smith bass, that's what he wants, and that's all he wants. So why try to force something on somebody that they don't want, based on ego, based on the fact that I just have this bass, so I'm gonna just play it because I can.
Yeah.
Man.
I do that on my gig, but if I'm working for him and I know that's what he likes, because it's a comfort zone
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
for him. So I don't want to, I have way too many other things to deal with than to try and force, playing a different bass just because I want to.
Well, what about you, Larry? Now you play, with George Duke and other folks with Maze. Do you get to pick what bass you want to use, or is it a certain feel that they're looking for?
Interestingly enough, we've had that same issue. I've brought a couple of basses in throughout the time that I've been there, and some he'll look back and after the show or whatever, he's like, man, that bass was on fire. That was killing. Oh, thank you. Okay, well, I'll take a note of that. And then I brought in a bass that shall be nameless. Similar thing. I'll just say the bass was made for me, under my specifications. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait a minute now, don't get me going. I know you ain't talking about the Larry Kimpel signature.
And well, and I brought it in. All the cats are like, that's killing. We love that. Beautiful. Love it. He came on stage that night. We did the show, and he was like, man, that's something different, ain't it? And interesting, I told him about the bass beforehand. I didn't just spring it on him. I called him up and let him know this was coming. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. Afterwards, basically, it was like, yeah, it sounds good, but it's not like that other, and I was like, okay. I mean, was I disappointed? Sure.
Yeah.
But do I understand it in his point of view? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because artists, and believe it or not, they hear that.
Yeah, that's what I was
Believe
saying.
it or not,
Yeah.
they hear it.
Yeah, they do.
And
Yeah.
as much as, like Larry said, you may be disappointed, and again, I assert that to just being, who we are as bass players.
Sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
I want this to work,
Right.
and it works. There's nothing sonically there are differences, but, you would think, okay, well, dang, is he really paying that much attention to just that? But it's amazing, man, how certain singers can key in on that, because one thing I learned early on is that the bass for a singer is their anchor.
Yep.
They are very, very, very much in tune with the bass because it helps them. And you think about it, we can change the chord. We can change any chord by our bass note.
Yes, we can. That's right.
Ain't that something?
Absolutely, sir. So that bass note is the root for that singer to hear. I've done gigs with just bass, drums, and a singer. So at that point, you have to be melodic, and you have to let the singer know, okay, if I'm playing if it's an E, I'm playing an E. If I play an F, that jacks him up.
That's the truth. Yeah.
On purpose or by accident.
Yeah.
It jacks him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But
Absolutely.
basses are very important, and sonically, I guess they do key into it, man.
Yeah, they do. I know from Frankie's perspective, he hears every bit in all those songs in his head. Every night he hears it before we're playing it. It's just in him, And so, if that didn't fit in that vision that he's got in his head, or that idea, it doesn't work. So hey, you're a professional, so you okay, no problem. We do this, and he's great. He's great. He's great from that. You want to keep your leader happy, whatever it is, whatever you got to do. Swallow your ego at the door and do what you need to do professionally. That's it.
Hey y'all, this is like just the inside information right here. So I'm gonna let them bounce because I still got to get the interview with Larry, y'all. But hey, my boy Al, man, always look out for me. My cat Larry, we gonna let them roll, y'all. But we gonna holler at y'all in a little bit. It's your boy J Ross. We 10 million strong and we gone. Peace.